Let me tell you a story that still feels surreal even years later. A story about loyalty, betrayal, power, consequences, and the kind of quiet revenge that echoes far beyond one night and changes lives forever. My name is Elias Voss. For 14 long, grueling, often thankless years, I poured my heart, soul, mind, body, and health into building Nexus Guard, a cybersecurity platform that eventually became valued at $510 million. I wasn't just an employee with a fancy title. I was the lead architect, the chief innovator, the man who designed the foundational encryption layers that made the system one of the most trusted names in the entire industry. I created the AI threat detection engines that saved major banks, hospitals, government agencies, and Fortune 500 companies from breaches that could have cost them billions of dollars in losses and reputational damage. I worked weekends when major clients were under attack. I flew across the country at a moment's notice to handle crises. I mentored young engineers, trained entire teams, and sacrificed family vacations, birthdays, anniversaries, and my own physical and mental health to make that company successful. I believed in the mission. I believed in the vision. I believed that if I gave everything, the company would eventually reward that loyalty. I was wrong. It all came crashing down on a Tuesday morning at 9:17 a.m. in the main executive boardroom. The air was thick with tension. The executives sat around the long, polished table in their expensive suits, some of them avoiding my eyes as the HR director read from a carefully prepared script. Elias, the company is moving in a new strategic direction. Your role is no longer aligned with our future vision. We appreciate your many years of service and wish you the best in your future endeavors. They fired me with a standard severance package and a security guard standing by to escort me out of the building I had helped design and construct from its early days. As I walked through the hallways carrying a cardboard box filled with my personal items, I passed the offices of people I had mentored for years. Some looked away in discomfort. Others gave me sympathetic nods but stayed silent. One longtime colleague slipped me a quick message on my phone. They're already fighting over your code in the back rooms. Watch your back, Elias. I didn't say a word to anyone. I just kept walking until I reached my car in the parking lot. I sat there for what felt like an eternity, staring at the building, replaying every late night, every crisis I had solved, every sacrifice I had made for the company I loved. Then a strange, cold calm settled over me. Because I knew something they didn't. During my time as lead architect, I had secretly built a hidden safeguard deep in the core of the system, a dormant master key protocol that only I could activate. It was never intended for revenge. It was a last resort failsafe in case the company ever turned against its own creators or compromised its ethics in dangerous ways. I had hoped I would never have to use it. But after the way they humiliated me, after 14 years of loyalty met with a cardboard box and a security escort, I knew the time had come. I spent the next 3 weeks in absolute radio silence. I didn't post anything on social media. I didn't call old colleagues for gossip. I didn't leak any information to the press. I simply prepared in the background, carefully reviewing code, testing the protocol in isolated environments, and making sure the activation would be clean, untraceable, and devastatingly effective when the moment arrived. Meanwhile, the company continued business as usual. They threw their annual shareholder gala, executives dressed in tuxedos, champagne flowing freely, long speeches about their unbreakable security platform and record profits. They congratulated themselves on making smart cost-cutting decisions by letting go of expensive senior talent like me. At 9:47 p.m. that night, while they were still celebrating inside the ballroom, I sat alone in a small rented cabin 2 hours outside the city and activated the master key with one final command. The effect was immediate, silent, and catastrophic. Every single Nexus Guard protected system went dark across the entire global network. Not a loud, messy crash that could be blamed on external hackers. Not a noisy breach with alarms going off. Just a complete, graceful, and total shutdown of all primary defense layers. Major banks lost real-time transaction monitoring. Hospitals lost critical patient data protection protocols. 3 government agencies suddenly found their sensitive infrastructure exposed for the first time in years. The panic spread faster than anyone could control. By 11 p.m., the board was scrambling into an emergency all-night video conference. By midnight, the company's stock had dropped 19% in after-hours trading. By 3 a.m., my phone began ringing nonstop. First the CTO, then the CEO, then the board chairman himself, his voice shaking with desperation and fear. "Elias, we need you back immediately. Whatever it takes. We'll double your salary. We'll give you significant equity. We'll give you a board seat. Just turn it back on. Please." I let every single call go to voicemail. The next morning, I sent one single, carefully worded email to the entire executive team, the full board of directors, and key investors. I CC'd a few trusted journalists for good measure. The email read, "You fired the wrong man. The system you called unbreakable had one critical weakness: the loyalty and deep knowledge of the people who actually built it. I gave 14 years of my life, my health, my best ideas, and my loyalty to this company. You repaid me with humiliation and a cardboard box. Good luck fixing what you broke. I will not be returning. Ever." The aftermath was brutal, long-lasting, and very public for them. Major clients started pulling their contracts within days. Competitors moved in aggressively and took significant market share. The once dominant Nexus Guard became a cautionary tale in cybersecurity circles. Their stock price remained depressed for months. Internal morale completely collapsed as top engineers started leaving in waves. Some of them reached out to me directly and joined my new venture. 6 months after I was fired, I launched Vanguard Sentinel, my own cybersecurity firm built on better principles, transparent leadership, real loyalty to employees, ethical technology, and a culture that actually valued the people doing the work. Within 2 years, we had captured significant market share in key sectors. Many of the best people from Nexus Guard followed me voluntarily because they remembered who actually cared about the mission. The board that fired me now watches from the sidelines as my company continues to rise while there's struggles to regain the trust they destroyed that single night. And that, my friends, is the full, honest story of how one man's quiet decision in the face of deep betrayal changed the course of an entire company and his own life forever. If you've ever been betrayed by a company you gave your best years to, I want to hear your story in the comments below. We read every single one here on Hidden Truth Chronicles. Thank you for listening to this long, honest, and powerful story. If it moved you, inspired you, or gave you hope, please like the video and subscribe. More raw, real-life revenge and karma stories are coming every single week. This is Elias Voss, the man they fired but could never break.